Welcome back everyone to my channel. So today I'm going to go over my top favorite books of 2022. Of course, I have quite a few more, but there were 5 that just still linger with me, that I still think about, and I wanted to kind of share those with you. Don't mind my cat. She decided that she wanted to be part of the video. But I wanted to go over those today with you, kind of wrap those up, and maybe you will find a new read that maybe you never would have thought about or haven't picked up yet. So these are 5 that I highly recommend you check out if you haven't already. But make sure that you like this video, make sure that you subscribe, stick around for 2023 because I feel like there's going to be some amazing things going on. But we'll get right into it. So these are in no order at all, for like my least favorite book to my absolute most favorite book. All of these have left, part of a thing on my heart, and I think about them all the time and the characters, and I want to revisit that world so bad. So the first one that I have is The Fae King's Curse by Jamie Schlosser. This was a new author to me in 2022. I had never read anything by Jamie before, and I picked this book up because it came out to me, like, I think it was on Facebook, one of those Facebook ads, and it is about, they have 4 books in the series and 1 novella that is a prequel, and it's called Between Dusk and Dawn series, I believe. And they all are standalones. They all follow, different characters, but they're all set in the same world. The characters that were in book 1 do make a presence in book 2 and so on. So I do suggest reading in order so you kind of know what's going on in the world. But The Fae King's Curse is book 1 in that series. And this is following Kyrian, and I can't even think of her name at the moment. But anyway, Kyrian is the guy, the one on the cover, and he is a Fae prince. He is blind due to a curse where the witches of his realm put a curse on him and, other people, where if he does, like, if he kisses anybody or anything like that, and that is not his true soulmate, then, he'll be blind forever. Now, in comes our female main character, and she lives in the human realm, and she was in probably early teenager time frame, and she's out in the meadow playing, and all of a sudden Kyrian shows up because he can come through a portal on his birthday every year. So 1 year in Fae time is 1 day in human time. So she doesn't know that yet, and they meet. They kind of have this instant friend connection. So every day she's going to this meadow to play with him. Now she's aging at a day, where every day that she sees him, he is older and older and older until he stops, aging really altogether. And so finally she finds out that he is a Fae prince, that he's blind, about this curse and everything. And so for years, they meet in this meadow, they talk, they play, they do all these different things. And then she is already graduated high school. She is getting ready to go off to college. And so she tells Kyrian, hey, I'm not going to be around for a few years. I'm going to go off to college. And Kyrian does not want that. He can't handle that. So he ends up kissing her, and she gets upset because she's like, Kyrian, you're going to be blind forever. Why would you do that? And he whisks her off to the Fae realm, kind of against her will at this point. And, the story kind of goes from there. She learns more about the curse and, how to break it and all of these different things. So I really loved the cast of characters. The Fae King's Dream, which is the second one, is Damien, and he is one of Kyrian's best friends or cousin, I believe. And then, you have the Fae King's Prize, who is the king or prince at the time of the day realm, and Damien is the prince of the dream realm, and so Kyrian is the prince of the night realm. So really good. The newest book that had came out was called The Fae Warrior's Princess, or the something like that. And then I just found out that there is going to be another book called The Fae Warrior's Queen, and I can't wait to read it because especially I know who it's about from the Fae Warrior's Princess. So pick this up if you like Fae romances. Pick it up if you like how the main characters, have maybe a disability, different things like that. It was a whole new take on the whole Fae romance, and I really, really enjoyed it. So Jamie Schlosser really hit it out of the park for me. The next one was an ARC that I was given, and I didn't even ask for it. Bloomsbury had just sent it to me, and it's a YA fantasy horror book, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like it because I'm not into YA books much anymore, and I'm really not into horror at all. But this is called Shades of Rust and Ruin by A.G. Howard. This book is especially good because you are following Phoenix, which is Nyx, and every year on Halloween, someone in her family dies. It's a curse that they have, and so a few years back, her sister had died, and so Nyx always stays up to past midnight to keep her family safe and all of this stuff. But she fell asleep one night like 15 minutes before midnight. She doesn't even know how that happened, and then her sister ended up dying, and it really left a hole in Nyx's heart, and so she's having to overcome this trauma and everything else from losing her sister. Now it's Halloween again, and she is staying up. It's her and her uncle. She wants to keep him safe. And then also you have Clary, who had a romantic relationship with her sister, and it really wasn't a relationship. Like, they were never together. There was never like kisses or anything like that. It was more like he had a crush on her. And then over the couple of years of her sister dying, him and Nyx have gotten a little closer. And so even though this doesn't have a romantic element to it, there is a little bit of romance, like very, very minimal, but it gives you just enough romance, that fills that void that you like in your fantasy books, if you are one of those people. And so Clary and Nyx are trying to figure out what's going on. She ends up going to this different realm and, starting to uncover these secrets about her family and what had happened. And Clary is along the way. And it's just a really, really good book. I can't wait to read the sequel to this. So in retrospect, I am actually happy that Bloomsbury sent this book to me, because I would have never picked it up on my own and never would have found a 5-star read for myself last year that is in this book. So if you really like books that have a mystery element to it, maybe even a little bit of a thriller suspense type of thing, and minimal romance, like maybe just a kiss here and there, definitely pick this book up. It was amazing. I loved following Nyx on her journey as she's trying to uncover the secrets and what is happening to her family. And it does have that fantasy element because it's kind of like a portal fantasy. You go to a different realm. And so you would definitely really like this if you like any of those elements. The next book that was another 5-star read for me was Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Now, I started this book at the end of 2021, but I didn't finish it until 2022, so I added it on my list. This book is following Amelia, and Amelia and her sister, are witches, and they help their grandma with the bakery and the family business. And one night, her sister ends up going missing or killed, or, whatever aspect it is. So Amelia has been told her whole life, never summon a prince of hell. Well, Amelia is trying to find out where her sister is and what happened to her sister. So she defies what she has been told her whole life, goes and summons a prince of hell, and ends up summoning Wrath. And, Wrath is upset. He doesn't want to be around her and all of these things. And so all of a sudden, they kind of form this agreement that they're both going to help each other figure out, A, what's going on with these murders, and B, what happened to her sister. Because in hell, there's some things going on too that Wrath is trying to uncover. So you're following them on their journey, and their banter is amazing. The first book is very, like more towards YA, but you go on into the series, Kingdom of the Cursed becomes a new adult and a lot spicier. And then, of course, Kingdom of the Feared, which wasn't my favorite of the three, even though it was the conclusion to the trilogy that there was. It's very spicy and very adult. So definitely know that going in, especially if you pick this up thinking it's a YA. It is. There's not a whole lot of sexual things that go on, but as the series goes on, it does get quite spicy. But you are following them. I love their banter. I love, the people, the cast of characters that come along, and the mystery element to this whole series. And I really love the fact that, Amelia is very headstrong. She doesn't take anything from anybody. So if you like a fantasy element, if you like fantasy romance, and if you like to root for the villain per se, definitely pick up this book. It was a 5-star read. It was absolutely amazing. I was very happy about the conclusion, but I felt like it was very rushed. So know going in that the third book will be quite rushed for you, but it will be satisfactory because you will feel like Amelia and Wrath's story is, wrapped up. Her sister is wrapped up, and all of the things that are going on. So I definitely didn't expect the way that the book went to go the way that it did, but I was very happy reading that. So definitely loved this trilogy, loved this book especially. So definitely pick it up if you haven't yet. The fourth book that came out, I did read it. It came out in 2021, but I didn't read it until the beginning of 2022, only because I had a lot of books that were on my TBR that I was trying to wrap up for 2021. But it is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This book is so, so good. If you are a Sarah J. Maas fan and you love ACOTAR, if you love fantasy romance and you love the whole love triangle thing, this book is a must read for you. So this book is following, oh goodness, I don't even remember what her name was. Abriella, I believe, or something like that. Anyway, you're following her, and she is struggling. Her and her sister are living with her aunt or whatever. They owe her quite a bit of money, so she's stealing things and all of that stuff. It's kind of like a Cinderella-esque type of thing, where you have the two cousins who are just horrible stepsisters type of thing, and so she's trying to keep her and her sister, afloat and pay off their debt. And then there is a boy next door named Sebastian. He is kind of like he's in a mentor program, where he's trying to learn how to be a magician or a wizard or, something with magic. And so her and him kind of form this bond where they can kind of at night just kind of talk to each other, gaze at the stars, lean on each other type of thing. So she does develop feelings for Sebastian. And then all of a sudden, whenever there is this contest and everything else like that, where women are going to go to the Fey realm, Sebastian says that he's going to be gone for a year on this, trip that he's going to be taking. And so she is not happy about that. She's sad. But then her sister ends up, being sold to the Fey. So she is on her way to the Fey realm. Sebastian tells her, wait for me. I will go with you whenever I'm back in a year, all of this stuff. And, she does not wait. Obviously, that's her sister. And so she goes to the Unseelie court, finds out that it was the Unseelie king that took her. And so she is unraveling why, he took her and why this and who really is Sebastian. And then you meet the Seelie prince and you meet the Unseelie prince. And, you have all of these different things going on, and the two men are vying for her attention. And the book is so good. It's a duology. The second book is called These Twisted Bonds. So I had finished this book, probably around January or February of last year, and I just couldn't wait for These Twisted Bonds. And then I found it on NetGalley, and I did get the arc to These Twisted Bonds probably a couple days after finishing this, and I immediately picked it up. I couldn't wait, and I'm so happy I did, because I loved how the world wrapped up and the plot and the stories and the characters. And so if you like found family, if you like a slow burn romance, if you like a love triangle with a lot of mystery elements to this. It gives you a lot of ACOTAR vibes, but in a whole different way that is much, much better. So definitely pick this up if you really want to read that, because it was so good. I plan on doing a reread of this duology soon. And then the last book that was on my top list of 5-star readings is Midnight Crown by Rebecca L. Garcia. So this is actually book 2 in the Shadow Kiss series. So I'm not going to tell you much about what Midnight Crown is about because it would give spoilers away. But in Shadow Kiss, you are following, I can't ever remember people's names, Olivia. And Olivia is kind of a mage, like a witch, not really a witch, but type of thing. And her mom live in this town that, borders the vampire realm. And her mom is part of this guild that keeps the town safe from vampires and such. And so she's a sorceress. That's what she is. She's a sorceress. And sorceresses are very hard to come by because there's not a whole lot of them left in this world. And so they're very sought after by the vampires. Now, one night, you find out that, her best friend is coming to stay with her. And, because Olivia's boyfriend a few months prior had committed suicide, took his own life. So it really is, weighing on her, and she just can't get over the fact she's very down and depressed. So her best friend, who is also part of this guild, comes to stay with her to keep her company. Her mom has to go away for some guild things. And then all of a sudden that night, he gets word that her mom has went missing or was taken by the vampires, and the vampires are overrunning this town. So he's trying to get her to the guild headquarters to keep her safe. And, the guild headquarters had already been overran by the vampires. And so, he's trying to keep her safe. She gets knocked unconscious. Whenever she wakes back up, she is in San Morte, which is the vampire town or world or whatever. And she is in a house with a guy named Sebastian, who is a vampire. And the story just goes from there. He lets her know who she truly is. He lets her know, like, why her mother has been taken and why she was sought after. And then, she starts learning more about the whole vampire politics and the vampire king and all of these things. And also Sebastian is helping her harness her powers, helping her, figure out what she can actually do. So this one does deal with, suicide. It deals with a lot of dark elements. There is a not really a sex club, but it's like a blood club or whatever, where slaves are sold to be fed on. So if you're not really into a dark fantasy romance, I probably would not pick this up, because as the series goes on, it gets darker and darker and darker. So definitely check trigger warnings and check the dark elements, because it may not be for everybody. But this series is absolutely amazing. It gives you a whole new take on vampires. It gives you a whole new take on a fantasy paranormal romance. So pick this up if you really want to read more about Olivia and Sebastian and the whole San Morte world. Midnight Crown came out in September. Darkest Heart is going to be coming out, which is book 3, pretty soon. And then I want to say book 4, the final book, is called Ruthless Heirs, I think. Anyway, pick this up. You will not be disappointed at all. So those were my top 5 picks of 2022. Of course, I had a whole handful of others that were 5-star reads, but these ones have definitely stuck with me. I want to continue any books that come out in those series, which some of them are already finished, but I would love to revisit that world if the author does that. But if you want to leave a comment below, let me know what your top books were for 2022. Let me know if, you liked any of the books that I have or didn't like. And also in my description, you can head on over to my Instagram. Let's talk books there. My Goodreads is on there if you want to follow my reviews. But until next time, everyone, I hope you have a great day. Bye.